नमस्कार, सत श्री अकाल, राम राम सा, खंबा गणी, वणक्कम, प्रणाम। आप सभी का ऑल्टरनेट मीडिया में फिर से स्वागत है। हमारे साथ जुड़े हुए हैं पीवीआर नरसिम्हा राव सर और बहुत इंटरेस्टिंग होता है। पूरी दुनिया बात करती है नाम चेंज करने की, बड़े-बड़े बिज़नेसमैन नाम चेंज करते हैं। मैंने भी नाम चेंज किया बट माय रीज़न वाज़ डिफरेंट। व्हाई डू पीपल चेंज नेम? क्या इसका एस्ट्रोलॉजी से कोई लेना-देना है? इसी मुद्दे पर पेरियाना, वेरी वार्म वेलकम ऑन द शो।
Namaskar, Gayatri ji. I'm glad to talk about this topic. We see, especially in politics, in the film industry, in the sports, in basically many celebrities, they change the spelling of their names. You see that all the time. Of course, some people change the name also, but let's first talk about the spelling change. Some people, for example, if your name is Kapil, instead of Kapil, you may write Kapiel because each letter is associated with some numbers, and when you add them, there are certain energies. My take on that is the Vedic alphabet, the Devanagari alphabet is very logical. There is a science behind it. If you look at the vowels, how they are structured, if you look at the consonants, how they are structured, like ka, kha, ga, gha, and then the nasal, cha, cha, ja, jha, and the nasal, ta, tha, da, dha, na, ta, tha, da, dha, na, pa, pha, ba, bha, ma. The ka sound is produced at the back of the mouth, and then cha is palatal, and then ta is alveolar, and then the thigh is dental, and pi is on the lips. So you're starting at the back of the throat and slowly coming to the front. And then with each varga, ka, kha, ga, gha, the first one is voiceless, the second one is aspirated sound of the same, then voice, then aspirated of the same. So there is, what I'm saying is, if you study linguistics, you will see that there is a structure behind the consonant, the alphabet itself. So if there is any method, any structure where you ascribe some numbers to those, and you basically do some calculations, and you certain planetary energies are associated with those sounds, that is more plausible. There is some logic behind it. On the other hand, if you look at the English alphabet, the modern English alphabet, it's just arbitrary. There's no structure behind it. So it's not God made, it is man made. So if something is arbitrary and man made, thinking that there are some formulas that control destiny, that control luck based on that man made arbitrary structure is absolutely illogical. So my strong opinion, my firm opinion is, all this numerology based on the name as written in the English alphabet is absolutely illogical. But the thing is, people can believe in illogical things and they can blindly follow them. That's up to them. But my opinion is absolutely illogical. Similarly, people take their birth date, the year, month, date, add them up and do some math. Again, if the leap year was defined in a slightly different way, instead of saying that February has 28 or 29 years, you said that February has 31 days and March has 28 or 29 days. Basically, your birthday will be different. The month, the numbers will totally be different. In other words, there's no structure behind it. It's just arbitrarily decided by men, this particular calendar. So thinking that there is a method, a divine method that basically is followed by the energy that rule this world and the planets to control your destiny based on such a man-made construct is absolutely illogical. So these are, I don't advise people to follow these at all. But if you look at the Vedic calendar, if you look at the Devanagari alphabet, they are very structured. And there are, in our classics, rishis have given some principles. For example, I'll mention one specific principle. The planet, if you look at the planets are assigned certain letters basically. For example, if you take the Kavarga, Kakha, Gagha, they are ruled by Mars energy, the fiery Mars energy. If you take Cha, Cha, Ja, Jha, the palatal sounds, they're ruled by the watery Venusian energy. If you take, for example, the lip-based sounds, Papa, Baba, Ma, they're ruled by Saturnine energy. Tatha, Dadhana, ruled by Jupiterian energy. So, one principle that is given in our Shastras, which I will feel more comfortable following, and also I have seen it work in practice compared to the Western numerology, is just forget about taking the letters, numbers for each letter, adding them up and all that. The first letter is important. when you say somebody's name Gayatri, Ga, that basically has an impact on your brain. It has certain vibration. So the first letter, you basically see which planet controls that letter, and then is that planet auspicious for you? If that planet is not auspicious for you, that basically that is not a good name for you. In other words, suppose somebody there is an actor, Telugu actor, let's say his name is, I forget the original name, but basically that original name was not auspicious. He changed his name to Chiranjeevi. The Cha letter is ruled by Venus, and Venus is an auspicious planet in his chart. He has Tula Lagna, and Venus is an auspicious planet. So that name will actually be very beneficial to him. Like that, you when I advise people how to name, if somebody had a child recently, what I normally do is take the most auspicious planet in the chart, because based on how people call you, that planet's energy in your chart will be amplified. That will basically manifest more readily in your life. So taking the strongest planet in your chart, or the planet whose energy you want to manifest more in your life, taking that planet's letter. And the thumb rule is all the vowels are controlled by sun, then all the semi vowels are controlled by Yara Lava, Sasha Saha. Those are controlled by Moon. Kakha Gagha are Mars. Chacha Jajha are Venus. Then Tatha Dadhana are Mercury. Tatha Dadhana are Jupiter. Papha Babhama are Saturn. So pick which planet is more auspicious for you. And then that, see, I'll give my own example. See, my name is PVR Narasimha Rao. But the thing is, when I was growing up, people used to call me PVR at college, high school, junior college, and IIT Madras. People used to just call me PVR. And P, the first letter is Pa, and that is Saturnine energy. In my chart, I have Kanya Lagna. Saturn is the fifth lord of fame, and he's in the eighth house, but he's aspecting the fifth house. So fifth lord aspecting the fifth house, so it gives recognition. So I won a lot of prizes, state level, sub junior chess championship, some painting, poetry, various competitions. I was state first in junior college. Then I went to IIT Madras. I was at the top of my class there. So all this basically fame, success, all these are the results given by that name. And then after I finished my studies, when I started my job as an engineer, then basically people just started calling me Narsimha. Very few people call me PVR now. Majority of people call me Narsimha. And now, Tatha Tathana are Jupiter sounds. And so Jupiter's energy in my chart is made more prominent in this period. So Jupiter is in the second house of speech in my chart. When Jupiter or Mercury are in the second house, they make you astrologer. So I already knew astrology before I started working. I started learning at 6 or 7 years of age. But the thing is, after I started working, I became basically the astrological activities became a more prominent part of my life. Like this, basically, depending
My
on,
name is Gayatri, so I'm like a soldier. Mars.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
If you look at, see, for example, Narendra Modi ji, if you look at his chart, he has Tula Lagna. Some people take Vrishchik Lagna, but it is definitely Tula Lagna. So Jupiter is third and sixth lord. If somebody calls him Naren or Narendra or with the original name, that amplifies Jupiter energy, and Jupiter is an okay planet in his chart. On the other hand, if you people started calling him Modi ji basically when he
Simple
became
and
a,
easy to call. Yeah, Modi.
yeah, especially if you are a leader, you're called by your last name. Of course, Rahul Gandhi people still call Rahul, but so when you call him Modi ji, as long as he's referred with Ma starting letter, that accentuates the Venusian energy. And if you look at his chart, Saturn is a Yokaraka. So it increases. He's the fifth lord of power. So it basically makes him powerful. And also he's actually involved in some charts in yogas in his chart. The Saturn, even though he's in the 12th house, he's with the ninth lord. So there is a Maharaj yoga given in his chart by Mercury and Saturn. So basically, using the Modi name made him more popular.
More,
Like this,
more powerful. Yeah. And
yeah,
Rahu impact more
right,
for
right.
Rahul. Yeah.
So like this, basically there are examples where somebody was known one way, and then when people started calling them a different way, that became better for them. They became more popular, or they got certain kind of results more. So my suggestion is, this is a more useful way to pick a name based on your, then forget about how many letters are there, what is the second letter, what is the third letter. Just focus on the first letter. And of course, if the second letter's energy is also not the second letter in the word, but suppose you have two words like Pavan Kalyan, Pa and Ka. So basically Saturn and Mars. So if there are two names, basically the first letter of the second name is also important. You can pick that also to be auspicious. But in general, these days people just use one name. These are not the, see, my original name was Pengal Venkata Narasimha Rao. It's basically so many, they wanted to cover various gods. My father wants one god to be covered, my mother wants one god to be covered. Like this is how it was in India in the old days, especially in Andhra Pradesh. You have long names, but these days you just have one name. So pay attention to the starting letter. That is one thing. The other thing is the name itself. What does it mean? It's not just some arbitrary sequence of letters. It has a meaning. So make sure that you know what that meaning is, and that meaning is consistent with the energy of your chart. See, if you look at my chart, I have four planets in the eighth house of transformation, hard work, etc. And out of those planets, Mars dominates. Mars is the lord of the eighth house in the eighth house. So Mars is a key planet in my chart, and he also gives Guru Mangal Yoga, etc. So Narsimha avatar corresponds to Mars. So even though I have a long name, main name is Narsimha Venkata Rama Narasimha Rao. So Narsimha's energy is consistent with my fears, personality, my aggressive, scholarly personality, which is shown by Mercury Mars in the eighth house. Similarly, if you are using a Sanskrit name, make sure that you know the meaning of that name, and and that meaning matches the personality that you want to cultivate within yourself. That is secondary, but the main thing that I have seen work, I have seen examples where somebody was named based on the eighth house lord in his chart, and the starting letter, and that wasn't really working out for them. But when they changed the name to a favorable planet, that made some subtle change. Because when people call you with a particular name, Modi ji, so many people are thinking of you, thinking of who you are with that name. And also you are hearing that name often. People are calling you Narsimha, or Gayatri. That basically that creates a vibration around you that has an impact, a resonance on your mind, and that has a resonance
Right.
on your life, so on your subtle body. So it does. This is something that I'm convinced of. It does have an impact. So uh, I'm not suggesting that you change your name unless you are in dire straits. But when you're naming a child, try to use this principle. There is another principle. There are four, like chocha, chola, like that. Basically, there are four letters associated with each nakshatra. And then these are called nama nakshatras. So people take the nakshatra of their moon and the corresponding quarter that the moon is in, and take the corresponding letter, and name based on that letter. But my take is, based on studying the classics, my understanding is this. I'm confident of this understanding. This is not about auspicious energy, creating auspicious vibrations around you. This is just a naming convention, so that if somebody forgets their nakshatra, the astrologer can reverse engineer it from the name. So if you say your name is Cholan, so Cho, which nakshatra, which pada is it? So they know your moon is in so and so nakshatra and so and so pada. So it's just a convention, so that you don't have to remember all the exotic things, and astrologer can basically still figure out. So if the parents use this table when you are born to name you, anytime astrologer can find out your nakshatra and pada, and which is very important for giving your readings. Even if you don't have the chart, just based on nakshatra and pada, you can give very high level reading. So that was the purpose of this. So you can ignore the nama nakshatras, that is irrelevant, but the energy of the key planet is a very important principle.
I actually we were doing a show I was with Lieutenant General Dushyant Singh ji. So
Uh-huh.
the battalion he was leading was a Maratha battalion. The name was Noble.
Uh-huh.
Noble. So it sounded very superficial. So
Mhm.
he went to his officer, the senior officer. And he said, "I want to change the name. This sounds very alien to us." And by that time, the battalion had not done much much success and gaining name and fame compared to the other battalions. They changed the name to Nashak.
Mhm.
Nashak, some other words also. And the moment they changed the name,
Mhm.
it was they got three Shaurya Chakras, Ashoka Chakra, sorry, not Shaurya Chakra,
Mhm.
Ashoka Chakras. So Nashak compared to Noble, look at the power that comes with the words, right? So you get certain vibes, energies when we speak
Yeah.
about when we speak a name. Surya Dev, Tejasvi Surya. Look at that name, Tejasvi Surya. The word it is reinforcing in the brain and mind the name
It
he has.
creates a certain thought in the mind of the person who is listening to that
Yes.
name. So that basically that vibration through resonance is also created in your mind, and it becomes reinforced with time basically.
And it's very scientific. It is not like superficial. By the way, JD Vance changed his name 7, 8 times. I heard Periana.
Oh,
He
is
has
that
changed his
real?
name many times. Yeah. This is, I think, his seventh or eighth name that he has changed in last couple of years. Even before marrying Usha Vance, he had changed his name.
Uh-huh.
So
I
the
see.
name change happens for a reason. A lot of people do it. That is why people call Panditji and Brahminji to ask, what name should we keep, depending on the day and the time a child is born. So changing name is not a bad idea. बहुत सारी योगी जी तो कह रहे हैं ना, whenever he's changing the name of a city or a society, name has a lot of relevance, historical, ancient relevance. So he has a different philosophy, but here is science, here is logic, here is astrology, and it has a lot of meaning. And our words ka kha ga gha, they are phonetic, but the way I think they came up with the alphabets had a lot of science behind it. It just didn't happen in a day.
Yeah. I'll give one more example. I was mentioning Pawan Kalyan earlier. See, his original name was Kalyan Babu. And if you look at the Dasamsa chart, which shows career, in his Dasamsa chart, Mars is in the 12th house. So he's not really a good planet for him. And he changed it to Pawan Kalyan, and Saturn is Yokarka in his Dasamsa chart of career, and he's in the 10th house, giving a Mahapurush Yoga. So once he changed the name to Pawan Kalyan, and people started calling him Pawan or Pawan Kalyan, he suddenly became a famous actor. So it was very, very
Very lucky
successful for
for
him.
him.
When he was
Yeah.
called Kalyan Babu, he was just like average student, struggling, no career, and wondering what to do in life. And Kalyan Babu became Pavan Kalyan. He slowly became a star and a big star, and now Deputy Chief Minister of Andhra Pradesh state.
Right. Gee, very interesting. With that point of view, thank you so much, Periana, for joining. It was always interesting to learn about these new things. These are not, uh, what do you say? These are very scientific, logical. It's just that a lot of things have been destroyed, so we do not have recorded text to prove these things, but they are still
For
being
some, we
practiced.
do have recorded texts. For some, we do
Acha.
have, but they're
Hmm.
ignored by people because we have this feeling that, oh, this is all superstition. This is all, even
It's
though
been
this
put in
it
our
may have been
brain.
studied and chronicled by rishis, we just
Hmm.
downplay a lot of our knowledge. And there is another aspect. Some of this is corrupted because rishis don't spoon feed. They teach it in a very subtle way so that one who's not prepared for it, one who's not ready for it, spiritually ready for it, doesn't understand. He gets the superficial understanding. So there is some layers of meaning, so there is some hiddenness to it, and on top of it people have just forgotten it intentionally because we are brainwashed to think that anything coming from our rishis is dumb, superstitious, whereas anything coming from Europeans is very intelligent, and that's not the case.
It's been labeled as what do you say, superstition, broad, one word and everything over. Yeah.
Yes.
Thank you so much, Periana, for joining. जाने से पहले viewers से request है, please don't forget to like, subscribe, and share Periana का channel, website. I'll be putting in the comment box. Please visit. He's doing fabulous job, especially on vedicastrologer.org, where he's writing beautiful articles also. So please reach out on that also, and don't forget to like, subscribe, and share the alternate media. अगर आप मेरी सहायता करना चाहते हैं तो आप मुझे नंबर और यूपीआई पे कंट्रीब्यूट कर सकते हैं. आप मुझे फीडबैक देना चाहते हैं तो सभी लिंक्स डिस्क्रिप्शन बॉक्स में. इसी के साथ जय हिंद, जय श्री राम, हर हर महादेव.
Jai Hind, Har Har Mahadev.
हर हर महादेव।